Do not disturb. There we go. Brit just be having it written. Pin comment. There you go. What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. We are that much closer to Christmas. Let's go. Well, I guess Thanksgiving too. My bad. Thanksgiving this week. What's going on, people? Happy Monday, man. I hope everybody's having a great time. You see, I'm in the Christmas spirit. Been decorating. Been getting things rolling. All right. We're going to have a fireside chat tonight. I want some questions. Coach John Austin. Yo, what's good? What's good, man? Written in stone. What's good? Hey, on Ball Up. Family, what's good? That's my BBI people, man. My family up in here. Let's go. Sierra introduced. Oh, okay. That's right. That's good. Oh, okay. What's good, bro? I have to remember. See, I can't see your picture, so I just saw the name. But yeah, I'm glad that she introduced us too, man. We definitely got to chop it up soon, man, for sure. So today is not a typical, hey, I'm gonna show you something about business type of thing. Just so you know, I always tell people that I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker because I feel that you got to motivate yourself, but I could just inspire you based off of some of the things that I do, right? Just hit you back on LinkedIn. Okay, that's what's up. I'll check it for sure. More miraculous solutions. Yeah, I like how you spell that with a more. Yo, what's good? Maybe there's a lot of things to discuss with that, but that's a different discussion for another time. Now, like I said, I can't motivate. Some people say I do, but I believe that you are motivating yourself, right? All right, John Austin, coach, let's go for sure. DM it to me, and then we'll get up for sure. I'll make sure I check right after this, or else it'll get lost in DMs for sure. Now, when it comes to inspiration, that's what I'm here for. And the only way that I can inspire is by showing you what I can execute on. Now, here's the first thing that I want to mention tonight. Here's the first thing. There's a lot of coaches, a lot of people who want to say that they're teaching, a lot of, instructors, whatever. And the fact is that they're more focused on selling to you than they are teaching you, or than they are in your success. Here's a weird thing. There's a lot of people as a coach who actually get jealous if more attention comes on you. Let me change it. It's not so much if you succeed, because if you succeed, they could easily then say, oh, yeah, that was thanks to me that person succeeded, right? Now, if you are getting more attention than them, then they tend to get a little bit upset. They get a little bit jealous. Let me explain something. I'm going to make a reel on this. Connie, what's good? Connie Falls. I love Connie. Connie, you free? Want to come on? Come on live with me, Connie. I think you would enjoy this conversation and prepping for 2022. We going into a new year. People be talking about New Year's resolutions. I don't have New Year's resolutions. I have goals. I have plans that I set. And then how am I going to execute on it? I have metrics. That's going to be key. Let me invite Connie in case she's able to come in. So I have metrics. That's going to be key. The Unique Mindset said, oh, Connie can't come in right now. Okay, yeah, they get salty if you start showing up more. You go, I thought you said brush my teeth real quick. I'm like, yo, it sounds weird, but I probably would do the same thing. But you said you're here. Okay, come on in when you're ready, Connie. And I think Connie would like this convo too, because there's people that they get upset that the light starts shining on you, and then you have to look at it like that's not a true mentor for you, right? Now this goes to other things. Imagine, and I've done this. I was guilty of this before in the past, right? Where I had a friend that I was really cool with, then I had another friend I was really cool with, and I introduced them, and then they became cooler friends than even with me, and then they was like hanging out, and I'm like, damn, what about me? Y'all introduced y'all. How y'all went out without me and didn't let me know, right? You feel a little bit upset about that. I've been guilty of that. I think we're all human. We've been guilty of it at some point. But it's a new age, a new form of crabs in a barrel. Why am I upset that you and that friend is having fun and you know, y'all connected and whatnot? I should be happy that I connected two people, right? So I'm saying this because it happens in multiple forms. There are some parents that are not happy if their child is doing better than them. I didn't think that was possible, right? Because to me, I'm like, oh, I'm all about, I want my kids to get that head start. I want them to do better than what I have, whatever I do. Neo Souls, I never knew what the heck you did all this time until I saw you on Sierra's Live. Even after seeing me on Sierra's Live, Neo Souls, you probably still don't know what I do because I do so many things. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. But I wanted to start this preemptive strike about just talking about watching out for certain people, right? Because this new form of crabs in a barrel, at least from my perspective, crabs in a barrel mentality was, oh, somebody's coming up in the neighborhood and then you jealous of them and you pulling them back down, right? But there's other iterations of it, other forms of it. And one of them is some mentors who they're not really out for your best interest. They're out for their best interest, lining their pockets. And then they're okay if you succeed because they're going to take the credit from your success. But if you get more attention or limelight than them, then they may get a little bit jealous and then they're going to start doing little things against you. Same thing with some parents who don't really want to see their child succeed, so they may hold them back. Same thing with like I said, with some people, when you have a friend and you introduce two friends and then they become closer and then you're like a little jealous about it. We have to consciously think about those things to make sure that we don't fall into those traps. And I said, I've done that before too, where I've introduced two people. I'm like, oh, well, damn, y'all are more tight than me. And, you know, I introduce y'all, right? But it's been a long time since I've done that because I know of that situation. So I'm conscious of it. So I make sure that I never act in those ways, right? That's why a lot of people say that I'm the connector. I bring a lot of people together because I feel like we all should come together. I feel that our collaboration is more important than our competition. We can compete in other ways, but I like competing as a sparring partner, not competing to see you fall, to see you fail, right? So I just wanted to start off with that because I feel like that mindset is the most critical thing going into 2022. If you don't already have that mindset, right? So going into 2020, they going real slow and happy with my Christmas music, but that's okay. We're gonna let it go and rock out. So that's what I wanted to start off with. Now let's get into what are you doing? What are you preparing for 2022? Now before we get started, because everybody always comes to me for like, hey, Beez, what other gem you're gonna drop? That type of thing, right? And I always drop some gems. I got to, you know what I mean? But today was supposed to be more just motivation, strategy, planning. But I got to drop one quick gem for y'all. First of all, Neo Soul said, yes, you're so right. Coaches only caring about their pockets. That's why people don't want to buy courses. It's not that we don't want to invest in ourselves. We just see through the BS excuse. 100%. It's sad. It's sad because then there's people who have actual valuable information, actually care about seeing people succeed and care about uplifting people. But immediately they're going to be hit with mistrust or distrust because they're like, other people have been scarred by other mentors and things like that. That's one of the reasons I don't sell too much. I lead with value, right? If my value resonates with you, if I resonate with you, because look at my brother Derek Harper. Derek Harper and I speak. Look at Connie Falls. I'm trying to bring Connie Falls on here right now. Me, Connie, and Derek kind of talk about the same things. You know, we have a little bit difference in certain things. But why do I bring them on? Why do I say, hey, if you're in the flipping businesses, you definitely got to check out Rock with me, but also check out my guy, Derek Harper. He can also show you how to do it. Why would I even say that? Because to me, that's more important. I'm showing you people who I feel that y'all could trust as well. And you may resonate with, Derek like to say he from the hood. So he say, he's straight from the old school Atlanta, and he knows songs that I don't know about. Like I just heard about that song where it's like swag, and everybody start going like this, swag. I ain't never heard that song before, like last year. But you want to come to me and talk about some reggae? Yes, I got you. You want to talk about some Brooklyn, some New York hip hop from the 90s, I got you. So most people go resonate with me for that, but they may resonate with Derek for, the down south, dirty south, whatever. Connie, because they're going to resonate because she's just that beautiful soul. She's just such an amazing person. You know what I'm saying? So, although I said, don't tell nobody. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. You resonate with different people, right? So still, go check those different people. That's why I share whatever is out there. Connie, what's good? How you doing, my friend? How you doing?
Not that I went and did my hair any better than what it was, but at least I'm not as homeless as I was.
You're always looking beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about. I wanted to see what your hair looked like though when you was before you go and did it.
The up in a bun and raggedy, it's like one level of raggedy off.
True. So I think this is the perfect time to have you on here, right? Because normally I come on and I talk about business strategies, or I get in and I start going into funding, right? Because, those are some of the main things that I focus on. Or I start talking about process systems and people and structuring your business. Or I start talking about, or I start talking about what we've been doing in the Business Builders Institute recently is showing people how to flip businesses, how to acquire businesses. It's literally just M&A, mergers and acquisition. But I've tried to make it, I tried to simplify it based off of what I've executed on. And then, realizing that there's a lot of fluff in there, a lot of jargon, a lot of things that, scared me in the beginning. So then I kind of dumbed it down for myself. So now I'm like, okay, I can share that with other people, right? So normally I come on and I'm talking about all these type of things. But today I wanted to talk about just planning in general. It's not just about systems or anything, although it does fall back to it, to be honest. But planning in general. When you go into a new year, Connie, do you create New Year's resolutions?
So my resolutions are a little bit different. My resolutions are more based personal than they are business. That's where I start.
Okay.
Because I'll use, for example, 2020, going into 2020, I didn't have a financial goal. I wanted my name to be synonymous with the word systems. So I had no financial goal. I had no number goal when it came to the number of clients I wanted to bring in. I had no Instagram follower goal. My only goal in 2020 was to make my name synonymous with systems. I wanted everybody, I don't care what the scenario was, what type of systems, if they're talking about radio systems, if they're talking about solar systems, they were going to be like, Connie has falls and asks for systems. That's the only thing I cared about all 2020. Because before that, nobody really, I'm Tommy, so nobody really knew what I did for a living. And they're like, you ain't got no job. So for me, only goal, hey, Jonathan, my only goal for 2020 was just that. So that personal to me, and it was great for my business. Now, when I moved into 2021, my goal there was, okay, I want to be able to impact 100 businesses positively in making sure that they have systems in place. And yes, Mike, please say the baby, not please say the baby, please say the systems, please, every single time. Big money, bit. But I say that because we get so stuck in the space of just making goals for when it comes to our business that we forget about our real goals. I wanted to see my friends more than I had seen them before. I'm actually in California at my best friend's house. My goal was to see my best friend 4 times in a year, which is more than I've seen her since we were in high school. So I had a lot of personal goals in addition to my business goal. I wanted to be able to get my book out. I wanted to be able to get my course done, which I'm still working on up to the last moment. But I did all these things intentional because many of us as entrepreneurs already live in a space of anxiety. I have ADHD, high anxiety, and I'm coming out of a lifetime full of depression. So the emotions are up and down. And we put these on ourselves that are so overwhelming and so big and so dramatic that we feel overwhelmed and we don't feel accomplished. And I've lived in that space for so long. So for me, I didn't just make outlandish goals. I made realistic goals. I want to see my best friend 4 times in a year. I want to make sure that I'm impacting 100 businesses, which is realistic. I want to have a that impacts 1,000 businesses, and I'm not going to charge the price that everybody wants me to charge, which is $5,000 and $10,000. I'm going to make it $1,000. I can reach 1,000 companies at $1,000 for each course. That's $1 million. So that part is easy. So I made my goal. They didn't have to be big and rambunctious and wild and crazy. I made them realistic so they didn't create any more anxiety that I already had on myself. So for those of you guys that are in this business space, it's already overwhelming. Entrepreneurship is overwhelming, and sometimes it's lonely. And unless you're able to move, most people's brain doesn't move like a bee's. Beez is one of the most brilliant people that I know. And for any of you guys watching, if you're not a part of his group, you need to be, because I don't know many people that are able to function with that many businesses at a high level and still be able to function and get on here and pour into people for free. So again, if you're not a part of that, you should be, because he is one of the very few people that genuinely pours and loves and makes sure that people are okay. I was just telling my best friend when I saw you on, I was like, yo, if I told Beez, like, hey, we're going to do a small group out here in California. We're just going to talk tomorrow. We're going to pour into people about business. So Beez is going to fly all the way out here.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then he's going to leave out.
And then what? And then what?
Love you. And then you're going to fly back out. You're going to be out.
Yeah, the same. The same day.
You out of here. I'm talking about Beez being in Atlanta. I'm like, bro, I just saw you online earlier. Yeah. People, because most folks don't have all of that. The easiest way to be, one, is to be a part of those types of groups, and two, to set realistic goals for yourself. So don't set yourself up for failure by trying to overdo your goals for the year because they have to be so grand. It could just be something that's small. Break it down into small size pieces so that way you feel accomplished as you accomplish them.
Ooh, I love it. See, I shouldn't have brought Connie on here, because Connie gonna make us go into the conversation that we always go into, because it just all falls back to it, right? We're talking about just strategy and just planning for the next year, but you got to have goals, and they have to be SMART goals. And I know Connie already knows that acronym, and she already talking about it. So you might as well just explain what the acronym means so that everybody knows.
Because I don't see. Here's the thing. I want y'all to be real. Somebody put down one of their goals in the chat. Just put one of your goals.
One of your 2022 goals. Personal or business. Just put something in the chat. Let's see what y'all putting up.
Just put something in there. Before we get into acronyms and y'all be overwhelmed, just put one thing. My one thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Beez, my one thing that I was supposed to do this year was to create my course. Now I'm talking about everybody that's been in my head. From Jose to Mark Suarez to Madi. I've been by everybody. And it's been the one thing that I was so overwhelmed by, and I was scared to do it and I was like, even though I know how helpful it would be, I know how great people would be, but that was really my one singular goal that I had this year. And it's November, and I'm still working on it. So again, but I feel more peaceful this year than I felt many other years because I had that one thing in mind, and I can break it off one piece. This month, I'm going to focus on the framework. Marcus Y. Rozier helped me with this. This year, I'm going to focus on this. And I broke it down to where it was realistic for me, because I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want my anxiety to be up the roof. I don't want to have to take Adderall in order to get my mind focused. I wanted to be able to do it in a peaceful space. So you guys put your goals, and I want to buy back my time. Yes, God.
Publish my first book. Fire my job. Have a steady income flow. Own my own property. Okay. Open my business. Finish my mentorship. What does that mean? Finish my mentorship. Like finish creating a mentorship, or finish a mentorship you're in? Open another business. Getting comfortable with going live. Let me tell you, Delashan. Okay, I'm terrible with these. When the names are put together, I don't know where the separator is. Delashan, there's this thing called going live privately, something like it's practice mode. Practice mode is what it's called. You can set it to practice mode and go live with just you, or I think you could invite like a couple of people that you know just to practice to get more comfortable with it. So definitely try that, because getting comfortable with going live. Go ahead.
Invite her up right now.
There we go. Let's see, how do I do this?
Let's invite her up right now. Come on, Delashan. Let's talk with friends.
Underscore.
On the stage.
There we go. All right, come on, Ella Sean. I hope I'm saying your name right. We're gonna bring you up. Connie is making it a workshop today. By the way, Connie, before she comes on, did you know about this?
No. What is that?
Who's this right here?
What in the world? What are you doing up there?
And who am I next to?
Is that Les?
Yes, it is. Les Brown, Heather Monahan, Johnny Wimbrey, Bjorn Beez Hendricks, baby. This was one of my goals this year. And say again.
Where's the link for it?
So they all just got delivered to me a few days ago. So I'm gonna send them into Amazon and then put the link up. But I couldn't.
I want mine signed.
I'm gonna sign it. I got the nice I forgot what you call it, the type of pen. So I'm gonna do the whole thing. The whole feather pen. Say that again.
Congratulations, Beez. That is so. Tell me about the book.
So here we go. I always tell people, or most people know the saying that success is when opportunity meets preparation. I like to add that it's when opportunity meets preparation and speed, right? Behind the Wheel podcast, calligraphy pen. That's the name I couldn't think of. Thank you. Oh, Lala said it too. Calligraphy pen. Yep. So I like to think that it's when opportunity meets preparation and speed. So I was at a conference that Les Brown was speaking at, and Johnny Wimbrey was speaking at, and they said that they had these contests going on where they're going to allow, do some, look at your background, look at your application, look at your writing style, all of that, to have you be a co-author in a book with them and some other celebrity authors. So I was like, I didn't even leave the conference, and I applied online as soon as he said it. I was immediately on it. By the end of the day, they contacted me and said they love my background, they love how I write, they love this, they love that. It's a shame that that I'm just finding out about it now, because they're just wrapping up one book with the celebrity authors, and then they're gonna have another one for next year in 2022. So I was like, well, what would it take for me to get on the one right now? And they were like, oh, well, it'll take a miracle for that. I was like, well, define a miracle. So so they told me I had like 4 days to write my part of the book in order to get it to the editors so that we could go back and forth and to make it happen. And I shut the doors. My BBI, my roundtable members were all like, okay, they understood what's up. I told them I had to get off. I got to focus. And I wrote it. And this was in July. So now I am a published author alongside Les Brown, Johnny Wimbrey, Heather Monahan.
Drop Beez in the comments.
Drop some Beez. Thank you. Listen, and everybody on here, if you think, oh man, the year's already done, I can't accomplish no goals in this short time, I have one more goal that I had not accomplished yet. And as of 2 weeks ago, I'm now booked for December 18th for my first TEDx talk. So it ain't over. We go until the last bell rings. We accomplishing things every day.
That's so awesome. What city? Where are you doing it?
Philly. In Philly. I'll be in Philly on this. Oh yeah, on December 18th.
Still out there, right?
Who?
Sonia, still loan doctor.
Yep. She's out there. Herman's out there, but he's gonna be in Dubai. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm just excited. I haven't even announced all of this stuff yet, but I'm just excited because there's so much things that just keep happening because I keep pushing forward. All right. Thank you all. Thank you everybody. I see that's giving the congratulations. I appreciate it. It's not about me. It's about the example, right? And I know some people who I've been talking to recently, and they're like, oh man, I didn't accomplish all that I wanted to, blah blah blah, for this year. I'm like, the year ain't done yet. Like, what you talking about? Make it happen. Tara139, how do I get my ticket? I'll start posting everything on IG this week. I gotta talk to them to find out the exact location, all that stuff. But it's booked for the 18th, which is a Saturday, sometime in the evening. Grant Cardone was supposed to be one of the speakers. I think Trap is going to be one of the speakers for that one too.
Trap is my client. I absolutely love Trap. He is phenomenal, and I love what he's building. So I'm proud. I'm just so proud of everybody.
Everybody's doing. Yeah.
Such amazing things.
You too. You talking about y'all as in all of us.
We're doing great things, but for me, I'm always so excited for everybody, especially for those that are genuinely pouring back into other folks. Like, it's one thing to, like, you have enough money to where if you just decided I'm tired of working, period, you're straight. And you have enough businesses that generationally you'll be fine. You know, from my thing is always, you can't create generational wealth without generational documentation. You have the documentation, the systems, the processes, and everything already in place. So if you decided you didn't want nothing, you don't have to teach anybody. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to explain to not nobody out here anything that you've done. You can survive and be great on your own without ever putting anybody up on game. So I always commend those of you guys and those of us that are in the space to make sure that we're still pouring into other people, even though we may have all our stuff. Because it takes a lot to shut your life down, go away from your family, go away from your wife and kids, and come and get on this live in a whole other room to make sure that other people are getting poured into. That's a huge deal. So I always commend, give honor and gratitude for people that are making sure that everybody is feeling that love. So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Don't make me have to fly out.
I got you. I got you. Listen, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And I feel that it's the natural progression of things, right? Once there was a time, I left Microsoft in 2016, and the first few years, I didn't even think anything about, I'm gonna make millions. I was just like, I just want to be able to cover what I was getting paid, because I was getting paid 140,000 plus bonus, sometimes up to 200K, and I thought I was living great. So I was like, as long as I could get to that, I'm okay. Then when I hit my first million, it was like, damn, I didn't expect that. and then but after that, it just kept growing. And then I realized that one day I was like, damn, I got a lot of cash in the bank, but I don't have any assets. Like, cash ain't an asset. And that's when my journey started changing. And then it was like, okay, well, I know how to make money now. It's not about the money I have. It's just that I know how to make money now, right? So then my natural progression, as I know how to make money and I'm able to take care of myself, was, I got to help more people, right? And it just kept growing from there. That wasn't my passion before. I was not the philanthropist or community service person or anything like in my fraternity back in the days or nothing. I was just the business guy. I was like, I'm the president of the chapter of the fraternity. I'll get everything sorted. You guys, exactly. Well, I'm blue and white Sigma all day, but it was a different thing. But I realized that my purpose changed over time as things changed with me. So you cannot be, everybody on here, you can't be afraid of change. You got to embrace change, right? What I try to do is have a little bit of controlled change. I'm not controlling the aspect of being willing to change. I'm just controlling how I change certain things, right? And that's why I mentioned metrics being an important thing. I may go overboard with metrics, and I'm not saying everybody needs to, but I have metrics for everything.
We can go smart. We can do the whole smart thing. And for me, I'm a metrics fan too, because I love all things system, process, even all the acronyms. I love all of it. So the fact that you were in all of the businesses that you have, they're very specific. So we talk about SMART, right? The S is for specific. All of the things are very specific, even though there are different businesses. Adi just made a post about you trying to run 3 businesses, and that's the reason why one of them isn't working, right? You're so build them all out. But you've been very intentional about making smart and specific decisions about each one of your businesses. They have different people, they have different roles, they have different marketing, they're reaching different people. So you've always been very specific, even though you have different businesses and different niches. So that part is one of the first things that, as we're working through the SMART thing, right, is making to think about what you're doing. And you've done really, really great about that.
Let me add something to that really quick. So I tell everybody that you can do multiple things. It's just about how you do it, right? And the first thing you do shouldn't be with multiple. The first one should be the one that you focus on, because you got to kind of figure things out, and you got to start getting some cash flow to support other things, right? So, but overall, you can do multiple things. But here's the change that I even had to make in myself over the last about 2 years now, right? So before that, I always knew that I never wanted to be working in my business, right? That was just my background. It's on how do you automate things? How do you re-engineer the process? How do you make things more efficient? How do you create efficient teams, right? So I always knew I never wanted to work in my business, in the business, right? So I wanted to work on the business, and that's the business owner. Instead of me being in the front line, I'm on it. I'm making sure the process is in place. I got people that are in place that are managing the teams. I review reports. I steer the direction, right? And I was content with that. I thought that was the best bet. Business builder Beez. I was in the business quadrant of the cash flow quadrant from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, right? Then I realized where I needed to continue to evolve. And then I moved to, instead of working in, I don't want to work in, instead of working on, because it still took my time and my direction. And especially if you're working on the business, sometimes you have to focus a little bit more in the business. So it's hard to have multiple completely disparate businesses that are not related at all. But then I started working above the business. The business became the product instead of the products that I was selling, products or services that I was selling in the business. What does that mean? One of the first things I tell everybody is that you have to have an exit plan. All these things that you hear people talking about online. Oh, Airbnb, oh, Turo. Okay, that's cool. But what's your plan with it, right? Are you going to keep that forever? You want to pass that to your kids? You know if your kids want that? I always make the joke that my mom has these China cabinets. And the China cabinets with the fine China, like plateware and all that stuff. And she used to be like, holidays, maybe. Yeah, maybe. but then she was like, she's gonna give it to me, like when she's gone. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, why are you gonna give it to me? Sometimes it's the same thing with your business that you think you want to leave to your kids. They may not want it, right? So you have to have a clear exit plan. And sometimes selling your business, there you go. Look, we gotta bring in my guy Derek too. Derek, if you free, bro. It's the ultimate triumvirate right here between me, you, and Connie. But being able to sell your business and stop looking at your business as your baby. There you go. Hold on. Let's see let me invite him in, see if he could come in too. Right? It's like before I was able to rent out my cars to give it out to people and make money from it. I was like, nah, that's my baby. I named my cars, right? But then after a while, I was like, no, that's not helping me. Derek's on the flight to okay, you on the flight back here? Derek he be in more places than I could even count.
Your business is not your baby.
Exactly. Your business is not your baby. So I structure my businesses. Say it again.
I would never sell my daughter. These businesses y'all can get.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So that was a change I had to make when it comes to being the specific part of the SMART acronym. And we'll get to what that is for everybody in a minute. But when it comes to the specific, I was very intentional about what businesses am I purchasing, acquiring, not purchasing. There's a reason why I say acquiring instead of purchasing. But what businesses am I acquiring and why? Does it supplement my core business? Is it something that I just want to buy this business because of leads? Is it, what is it that I'm doing and what's my intention with it? How long am I going to keep it? Am I going to flip it? Do I plan on investing in the systems to grow its value so I can sell it later? All of that came into play with, most people think it's just, they said it didn't let me on. I'm just watching the goats. You one of the goats, bro. We got to do, just like I don't want to take Zoe's name, but GoatCon, when we talk about system GoatCon or something. When we come together, let's go. But go ahead, Connie. So continue on. I just had to explain that when it comes to being specific and intentional about the business you're either starting or acquiring, right? And we'll talk more about the acquisition stuff later on.
But for me, that also goes into measurable, right? Because when you talk about what your exit strategy is, what the process is that you're purchasing, because if you're talking about acquiring and or purchasing a business, you still have to make sure that all of that is measurable. How do I measure this acquisition? How do I measure the success of the business that I currently have? And you can't measure anything unless there are metrics in place for you to even measure.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? That's why we all are so crazy about systems. And I know, again, for me, I'm just now becoming public facing last year. Like, no, I'm Tommy 100%. So nobody knew what I did. They didn't realize how long 14 years worth of operational system stuff. So people are now, the people like us, Beez, are just now coming forward and really talking about the importance of systems, and people are just getting, the lights are coming on and they're grasping it, the understanding of the fact that these goals that we're setting. So even if we're talking about 2020 goals, are they measurable? How do you know if you did well or not? So if you're talking about the financial side, if I say, okay, great, I have courses for $1,000. I have a course for $1,000. I sell it to 1,000 people. That's $1 million, right? That's measurable if the way I'm measuring my success is based financially. That off of one product, that by itself is $1 million. So if all I cared about was, I just want to have a 7-figure course, awesome. Just with those metrics, 1,000 times 1,000 is $1 million. For those of you guys that are struggling trying to figure out how you're going to get to 7 figures, mindset, 1,000 times 1,000 is $1 million. If you have 1,000 people that buy $1,000 worth of products or services, that's $1 million. So if that's my only measurable goal, awesome, I've succeeded. My goal isn't financial because honestly, I don't really care about money like that. Because I care when I swear my card is going to go through. I care about when my daughter says, "Hey, I want to go to California to go spend Thanksgiving with our family." And the next day, I was able to buy a plane ticket for us to go. I care about the freedom.
Freedom.
So for me, the way I measure, my metrics of measurement are different than just financial. My metric is to say, how free am I to be able to do the things, one, that God called me to do, and two, the things that my daughter wants to be able to do with me. Am I able to say, she wants to go to California on the drop of a dime, and the only tickets that are left are Delta One tickets, and I got to pay $1,500 per person? Can I swipe my card and that thing will go through without causing any financial burden on me for the rest of this year? That's important to me. Me being able to say, if I want to go out of town and just go enjoy myself, or if I want to upgrade my car, or I want to make sure my dad never has to work again, that I have the freedom to do that, that's important to me. Yeah. But the financial part, this 1,000 times 1,000, does allow me the freedom to do these things. But my measure of success looks like the freedom I'm allowed to have.
Yep.
So everybody understand that being measurable, it looks different for everybody. So how did you measure success for you, Beez?
Exact same way. That was the reason I left Microsoft, was because I was trying to, I traveled every week for them, and the client wasn't even going to be there that coming week. And I requested time off because my son was having a basketball game, and they were like, no, I couldn't, not even time off. I requested not to travel, to stay home and work remotely. The client wasn't even going to be there, and they still said no. And that's when I was like, yo, I got to beg you for my time to go see my kid. And that's when I was like, no, that's not what I want. And then everything changed. I went all in. So freedom, or time wealth is more important than the financial wealth. Yes, the financial wealth can help you to get to the time wealth, but that's really what it is for me. It's that freedom, which equates to that time wealth that allows me to know that I've succeeded. I remember, now, mind you, when I first realized that I had financial wealth, it didn't hit me in the beginning. Like I told you, when I hit that million, I was like, wait a minute, I just made over $1 million net. I was like, hold up. I was like, wait a minute. So let me tell you what.
It's my money.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt. I was like, hold up. And that's why I'm thinking, I need to be more intentional about growing this and doing more. I just never really cared about that before. But when it hit me was when I was at a restaurant, and they brought the bill, and I was like, here you go. Like, I didn't even look. And then I thought to myself, damn, a year ago, I would have been like, oh, let me see. Oh, okay, what's this? What's that? And I'm not saying.
Oh, I didn't add no
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm not saying that people should do that, because you should still review everything. And and that discipline is what helps you to keep and grow your money even more, because I'm disciplined now where, and I'm gonna tell you, even last year, I wasn't as disciplined when it came to, there were certain things that I would sign up for on one of my company credit card, one of the credit cards in one of my companies, and it's a recurring charge. And then I totally forgot about it, and it renewed the next year when we don't need it no more. And I'm like, damn, I totally forgot about that. But they don't it, especially when you.
Just made wait, I don't even mean to get this. I already know.
But when you find something like a problem like that, you got to address it, and then you say, okay, I need a process in place that's going to handle this, because I'm not going to be the one to remember everything about all of these things, right? My bookkeepers. If it was up to them, they would just be like, okay, this is renewing, and they don't know that I don't need it anymore, right? But now I had to adjust the process so that there's checks and balances in place before they execute on approving and letting it go, because they knew it was about to renew. So now that's my discipline, is not that I'm making sure that I know when it's going to expire. My discipline is making sure that someone else knows when it's going to expire, and that they have checks and balances to make sure that I don't get that charge anymore. So you gotta work on your process overall, everybody.
What you just said is so key, because what happens is, and because again, we get to see the back end of a lot of businesses, and I'm grateful for the trust that people have in me in creating their processes for them, because I know most Black-owned businesses, they've never even thought about operational processes. They don't think about workflows and policy, process, procedures, standard operating. They don't think like that, because most of us just created our business off of a hobby that we started and we really great at, or it was something that we did in our corporate job, and we were able to translate that over into an entrepreneurship space, right? So understanding the checks and balances for you guys to really grasp that is to be able to say, in most cases, your accountant and your programs or platforms that you're signed up to, they aren't talking to each other. And they may not be talking with the business operations person, right? There's not necessarily conversation in between all of those spaces. So if I'm signed up for HoneyBook, Kartra, ClickFunnels, and something else, because I wanted to test them all out, and then I don't went off because I saw a butterfly and I don't walked off. I walked off a butterfly. I did somewhere else. Then nobody is going to go back and tell my accountant, hey, we don't need this anymore. That trial that we signed up for, that ends on November 23rd. We need to end it for then, right? So if nobody is communicating with that accountant, that things keep banging. Yep. But they never going to end it. I honestly, I have a Wix account for one of my old clients from 6 years ago. That's $29 a month. You beat my, you know what I'm saying? And it's just $29. So the first 15 times, the 5 times you see it, you don't even be tripping off it.
Yeah.
But then here's $59. I'm 5 years in with $29 a month. I'm not great at math, but I can tell you I could have spent that on a plane ticket somewhere. But when it talks about the communication between all of these processes, why you had to put a process in place to make sure that that's covered by the accountant. All of that makes sense. All of those things go together. That's again why systems are important. Exactly.
First of all, shout out to my guy Words Taylor. He said we teaching tonight. Word.
So now let's talk about the next one. Attainable.
Yep. That's.
Can you reach these goals? Are they realistic for you? Because folks set these, and I've done it, which is why I was very specific about 2020, because I'm the one that has the 115 list of things that I'm going to do next year. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to be married. I'm going to have a housewife. I'm going to eat right every day. I'm going to make $1 billion in 1 year, even though I have no offer that will ever equate to $1 billion in 1 year, which some of y'all need. Or you don't need an offer that'll make you the amount of money that you want to. That's a sidebar. But I have all these random goals out here just because I think that they're cool. And there's no way I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 1 year. It's just not going to happen. There's no way that I'm going to do half of the things that people just come up with because we think that it's cool. But what ends up happening, the psychology behind it is that's where the anxiety and depression comes from. When I'm not reaching these unrealistic goals that you already set for yourself. I say I'm gonna lose 100 pounds this month. Y'all would be like, really, Connie? 100 pounds this month? Is that the goal? But there's people that are setting those goals out there for themselves. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to make $1 billion this month. Sir, you don't have an offer that will make you $1 billion here. It's not going to happen. So you have to set goals that are attainable. This is something you can actually do in a year worth of time. That's why even for me, when I said 1,000, the only reason why I said 1,000 courses in a year is because I had 1,600 people that took my Systems in a Day workshop in 1 year. So in 1 year, 1,600 people went to a Tuesday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time class. 1,600 people took that class. So for me, if 1,600 people took that class on a Tuesday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., I believe that 1,000 people, and mind you, that class has ranged everywhere from $1,000 up to $2,500. So in my mind, if I can also get 1,000 people to pay $1,000 and where they can take it at their own time in a year. So I made it not only is it measurable, but it's an attainable goal. That's why the A in your SMART goals is important, because you have to make sure that it's attainable. So what are some attainable goals that you set?
So I'll say this first and foremost, everybody, the realistic and the attainable portions, they go hand in hand, right? Because it is attainable if you want to lose that 100 pounds this year. But is it realistic for you is the question. This is why we got to be real or honest with ourselves, right? Grizzy and Arisha keep, in my ear about, vegan and this. And I told them.
They're my clients too, so I extra got
Of
to
course. So, first of all, shout out to them for an amazing event that they threw this weekend. It was just insanely amazing. I've been in a lot of tribes, even my own, which is one of the most awesome tribes, but their Surviving Vegan Academy tribe, they are just full of so much positive energy. So they had an amazing event. Now, it was. I wish you were there. It was definitely awesome. So now, here's the thing: if I say, yeah, I would love to become vegan. Yeah, I want to eat healthy, right? But where's Taylor? Join the vegan family, Beez, bruh? Nah. Well, here we go. That's the thing. I'm being realistic with myself. I cut out pork at the beginning of the year when they kept pushing me on it. Then I reduced beef a little bit. There's no way that I was going to cut out chicken immediately. I knew I had to be honest with myself first. So this is where we get into the realistic and attainable. It's like, it's attainable for me to be a vegan tomorrow, potentially, but I'm not, it's attainable for someone to be a vegan tomorrow, potentially. But it's not realistic for me to be a vegan tomorrow because I know everything else that I'm eating. I know all the stuff, my habits, all of that. So it ain't gonna, it ain't gonna happen. So I just wanted to say that because when it comes to attainable, there's two things I wanted y'all to think about. One is what's attainable for you. And then two is small step improvements, right? Now, not everybody could have that CEO mentality and see the bigger picture, but everybody can see the picture right in front of them. Everybody can do that. Everybody can be like, okay, this is my goal. I got to hit that, right? So what's the best method is that you have the overhead view and you see the long-term goal, the year, the 2 year, the 3 year down the line, but then you break that into small chunks and see what I need to accomplish this month. So I know what my goal is for this year, for 12 months. So that means if I have a specific metric of attaining something in 12 months, then let me break that into 4 because it's 4 quarters. So what do I need to attain this quarter? That's a fourth of the full goal. Then I'm looking at this quarter and I'm gonna break that quarter into the months in the quarter, the 3 months, right? So what do I need to attain this month? And then that next month and the following month in order to achieve what I need for that quarter to set me straight for the next quarter and to set me straight for the whole year. So when it comes to attainable, not only do you need to be realistic with yourself, but you also need to make sure, or not make sure, but I highly encourage that you break it into these small step improvements, these small chunks, because it's easier for you to attain this first chunk and then keep the momentum going, right? A lot of times we have this huge goal of, I need to lose 100 pounds by next month, right? And if that first week you don't lose 10 pounds, you're like, damn, this ain't working, right? Because you had this, you you have a larger goal that you're focusing on. See, but I know that you know that even when you don't achieve the full thing, you still know, like, hey, hold up, let me rework my goal a little bit, right? So I'm just telling people, start from the beginning, rework it from the beginning. It's like with my kids, I tell them, if you keep the place clean, then you don't got to clean up, or you don't got to clean up that much, right? So keep it clean, keep it along the journey. Just keep it little piece by little piece, like little piece, and it helps you in the longer term, so that you don't have to worry about this huge goal of, damn, I got to clean up everything. Damn, I got to lose 100 pounds this month, you know? So that's it for me in terms of when it comes to Attainable. I didn't even tell y'all my specific ones that I have. I'll get into that in a bit, but I just wanted to give y'all some insight on how to look at attainable and realistic.
Yes. So first, shout out project manager Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, I love you so much. Thank you for everything you're doing. You're so amazing. I love you. So let's move to so after Attainable is it relevant, right? Mm-hmm. So relevant not just to where you are now, but to your bigger goals. Like, not just, is it relevant today, but is it relevant tomorrow? Is it relevant to your long-term goal of your business? So for me creating a course that will allow people to understand and build their own operational system, because we've done four a month for 2 years. We're now going to move up to 6 to 8 people that we're taking on one-on-one. But I can't help everybody. We can't take that on as a team, because it'll diminish our customer service. So that part is important to me. So creating a course, which is really more of a process for you to go through to be able to document your own operational processes, so you have a sustainable business. I have to create that, because for me, at some point, I have to be 100% hands off of my business, because my big goal is to move more into the life coaching part, to where I can help the mental part when it comes to these new entrepreneurs and old entrepreneurs be able to understand and process their thoughts with ADHD, anxiety, and depression that comes behind entrepreneurship. That's my big goal.
There we
because
go.
I talk and hear the behind the scenes conversations of some of the most amazing people that are in every single industry in Black entrepreneurship right now. I get to hear struggles and the problems, and I get to see pain points. And I've been hearing this thing for 14 years. So I understand the struggles that we're having, and I have a solution for that. But I cannot do that as long as Connie is writing standard operating procedures. I can't do that as long as I'm having to check in with the team and make sure everything is okay. Which is why Stephanie, who I shared a minute ago, will move more into the leadership role than I am. So that way I can move myself more into the life coaching space of it. So me creating a course is relevant. Thank you. Me creating a course is relevant, not just for now, but it's relevant for where my business is growing to. And so that I can say, I don't just own a business like you were talking about earlier, talking about working in or on the business. I want to be able to say, no, I just own that business over there. Over there, that thing, like my government contracting business, that over there, no, I own that. But I create things that are relevant now, so that way in the future, I don't have to have my hands on it at all. So what I'm creating is relevant for today and for tomorrow. So that's what the R in the SMART goal stands for, is relevance.
There we go.
So let's talk about
relevance. That's key. That goes in so much other areas, because there's when people think of what is it called? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. What is it called when you hesitate because you're thinking too long and then you don't act? Analysis paralysis. There we go. When it comes to analysis paralysis, right? There's so much opportunity out there, right? I used to wonder, like, everybody say there's so many ways to make money, but I don't know none of them. Like, nobody was showing me any of them. I was like, what do you mean there's so much ways to make money? Tell me something, then when I realized that there are, because I started getting myself in the right circles, I started choosing mentors, I started, continuously pouring into my own head. And then I realized that, there are a lot of ways to make money. Then it was like, damn, which one do I want? It's like there were so many, right? So being relevant, setting goals that are relevant to your ultimate goal is key to also the happiness, because you're gonna get into a bunch of random things. You're just chasing random things. If you have no strategy, no plan behind it, when you hit those bumps in the road, it becomes harder to continue forward because it's not part of your overall plan. Now, mind you, I'm not saying shifting is not important as well. You should be able and willing to pivot as an entrepreneur, right? Let me give you a perfect example. Last year, before I forget, Connie, I would love for you to introduce me to Mahdi one day. I've never actually met him, all this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's my friend and client. I'm a client of his too, so he's phenomenal.
Also, it just popped in my mind. I love his content too. But so let me go back. 2020. A lot of people see me. Connie's been at my my warehouse, right? And with the cars and all of this stuff. And it's awesome. $dollars
worth of cars that are
so here's here we go. So listen to what I'm gonna say now. That all started when people see it, they're like, wow, damn, how long you been doing that? 1 year. It was last year, November or October. It was last year, October, that I met Matty J. And I think maybe a little bit before that, but when I spoke to him, and then he's the one that put this in my head that you could turn this, this exotic car from a liability into an asset by renting it out. I was like, oh, hold up. I was like, wait a minute. And then I went full in. By February, we had the location, hosting all the cars, everything's growing. Now I've had a full year to look at the business as a whole, because too often, sometimes we'll find we'll be in a business and 2 months in, things aren't looking so good. It's like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't manage this, right? No, at least give yourself a whole year to look at a business. That's why they have fiscal years, because you're going to look at how you did in this fiscal year, right? So after looking at the business for a whole year now, a little bit over a year, there's a chance that I might pivot out of the business, right? And I've had this plan. It was supposed to be a 3-year plan. I buy cars that are 3 years or 3 years old or more. Sometimes I buy new, and it's only because that car didn't exist before. Like my Mustang Mach-E is an electric vehicle. It only came out this year, so I couldn't buy a used one of it. But why do I buy 3 years and older? Because most of the depreciation already happened in that period of time. So I'm getting it at a lower point. Why do I care about that? Because I'm literally look at every single figure that goes into it. I'm not just buying cars and just putting them on. I'm like, okay, how much did this car cost? 3 years old. How much did it depreciate the first 3 years? What's the resale value at a specific mileage range, and within this range of miles, at a little bit older? So my intention was 3 years of renting it out, 3 years of, then after those 3 years, I could sell the cars. It was making me cash flow during the time, and I would have minimal upside. I would, if there was any case that I'd be upside down on something, that won't happen too much. I reduced that risk as much as possible because I thought about it from the beginning before I chose the car. And I chose the car based off of the marketplace I'm in. Which one is going to rent out more? What's the average miles that's going to be put on it? Let me limit my miles per day so I can control it a little bit better. I did all of that intentionally because I knew I needed an exit plan. Right now, I might be shifting because there's some peaks and valleys in this business for sure. I learned that the hard way during rainy season in Florida, and Lamborghinis weren't being rented out, right? So now I'm like, I might in 2022 move away from that, get rid of the cars earlier, and move into something that's that I'm building right now, which is a SaaS, software as a service, that's based in the industry because I've figured out the industry and what I needed the most in the industry. So now I might focus on the SaaS aspect of it instead of the cars, which is a higher liability. And to be honest, the cars never really fit. You kind of talk about relevance. The cars never really fit my true business model. If you notice, Connie, my business models are B2B more than B2C. Because I don't want to deal with consumers. I don't want to deal with the end people who are finicky, and if there's a recession, they may not be able to buy and this and that. But every entrepreneur wants their business to succeed, so they need my marketing services. They need my staffing services. They need my financial business funding services. All of my B2B businesses are really my focus. But I got into this card game thinking, okay, I could really make this happen, and I did really well with it. But I'm ready to potentially pivot. So these are some of the things that you have to make a decision on what is relevant to your ultimate goal when you get into this new year, right? And don't be afraid to pivot when you have to pivot.
And I think that's great that you even said that, Beez. That's game on its own, because there are so many people getting into these industries that they think are really cool at the moment, but they don't fit into your business model. Mm-hmm. I already knew. Folks were like, you should put your Maserati on. No, thank you. It took me all these years to find a white one that had an interior that I wanted, and I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to have to worry about somebody if they're gonna crash the car, when they check in, when they check out, how they gonna. I don't want to, and it doesn't fit into what I'm building over here. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about SaaS, when you're talking about building apps or platforms and stuff like that, and partnerships and relationships and refer like that, I care about, because what we do is that people are going to need virtual assistants. They're always going to be a business that needs help. Yep. So even for me, I was like, I'm going to create a staffing agency. And then I was like, I don't want to do the work to go behind that. Go see Beez. So I just send everybody over to Beez whenever they... I knew that for the business model that I have, I don't want one. If anybody that follows me, I don't want to work hard. Mm-hmm. I want to be on a beach. I want to travel the world with my daughter. I want to drink champagne on yachts. And I want to be a housewife. None of that has to do with Connie working hard. I don't want to. I don't work hard for a whole lot more years of what I look like. Thank you, Jesus, and genetics. I don't want to have to bust my tail anymore to be able to make extra dollar. I don't want to do it. So what can I do? Income, and make sure that I can still live my business model is based around there's no number on the face of earth that is worth risking my peace and my time with my kid. There's none. So everything that I build has to be around that. Turo did not fit there for me. Yeah. Turo caused more anxiety. Turo was, oh my God, you have to make sure somebody's not crashing your car, they're not drinking and driving. So they crash into something. They about to just driving on a regular basis, the potholes by themselves. So they don't know that the front of the car is heavy and the front is real. They just gonna go over speed bumps and tear the whole frame out. I don't want to have to worry about that all day long. I want to sit on the beach. I want to drink champagne. I want to travel the world with my daughter. I want to be a housewife. If it doesn't fall into those things, I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. So any business model that created more stress or anxiety in my life, I don't want to be a part of that. So I commend you on saying that, because there are so many people that are drawn into the business models that seem really sexy and popular and popping at the time. Mm-hmm. Being able to say, for right then, yeah, I'm good. No, thank you.
Exactly.
I've done my money, and be able to have the guts and the gall to say it's time for me to pivot and move on. It's 100% okay. So I commend you on saying that.
Definitely.
So for the tea, and then I'm gonna get up off your live, because I know I just came in here just talking and carrying on.
I love it though.
The tea on the smart is time based. So when you finna accomplish all this stuff, and then being able to go through all the rest of them, even with the relevant, and is it attainable? Is it attainable? Because they all have to be there for you to make a move. So even if I can do this, I feel like I can lose 100 pounds in a month. Is that attainable? Can you really do that? So making sure time constraints that you put on whatever task you're trying to do, it's realistic and attainable, and that it's measurable. So if I say I had to put, again, because my anxiety is that's how I measure a lot of things that happen. If I said I need to 1,000 courses in 1 month, y'all wouldn't see me, because I would be somewhere in a corner between this couch and this door. at my best friend's California, hiding because my anxiety would be on 1,000. And most of y'all will be too. Yeah. So I had to listen. I just need a whole year. I already know because again, I've measured how it worked before, that 1,000 is realistic here. That's realistic for me. So if I know in 1 year I can help 1,000 businesses be sustainable, I'm okay with that. So that 1 year, what's up, David? That 1 year for me was the most realistic I could put anything in place. So for those of you guys that are stressing yourselves trying to say, oh my God, I need to have it done in this amount of time. Well, my homeboy did it in this month. He made $1 million in a month. Oh, I looked at Neo, and Neo got on the stage and made $4.7 million in 30 minutes. If you're trying to measure yourself up against people that have been doing this for years, if you look at a David, since he just hopped in, here's what's realistic. David, oh my God, David's Sleepers for Suckers was popping. You don't realize how many years he was at a kiosk in a mall. You can't measure success not understanding all the years worth of work he was selling t-shirts out of the trunk. It makes it unreal. Terry is on here. Terry Igioma. Terry, you can't say, oh my gosh, you made $1 million in a day. A day. That doesn't even sound realistic to most people. You made $1 million in a day. I want to make $1 million in a day. You don't even have $1 million offer. You don't even have anything out there in your life that could possibly even make you $1 million in a day. It's not real, and it's not a realistic measurement of time. And that time-based part is where we create the most anxiety and stress in our lives because it's unrealistic for us. And I'll be transparent. Terry is on here. This stress that I've had about creating this course, I was ready to jump off a yacht. We're in Puerto Rico at Terry's lavish house. I was ready to jump off the side of the yacht thinking about the fact of me trying to create a course. She was like, well, didn't you do a work for a whole entire year? I was like, yeah. She said, do you have a great recording of it? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. She literally took my laptop out of my lap, pulled it up on Teachable, and was like, oh, here you go. Here's your Black Friday. This is what you're going to do. For me, that was realistic. I had never considered it, but because she had done it, she made it realistic for me. She made it attainable because she set it up for me. It was time-based. She did it in 30 minutes versus the whole year me stressing about my Black Friday sale. So making sure that all of these goals that you guys are setting up for yourself, you have to be realistic about the time it's going to take to get it done.
100%. And again, shout out to Dave, shout out to Terry, shout out to everybody on here. This conversation is important. We're wrapping up the year soon, right? It's not over yet, though. It's not over yet. We talk about, let's say you wanted to set some more goals for the end of this year. The SMART acronym should be your starting point, because what is your specific thing that you want to accomplish in this next month or 5 weeks, right? How can I measure it so I know where I'm at right now and know that I actually get to where I want it to be to attain that goal, right? How do is it something that I can attain? Is it something that is actually, exactly, you know what I mean? And is it relevant to the other things that I'm doing? All of the stuff you got to look at, and then you already know the time frame because we said, last 5 weeks. So can I accomplish this thing in 5 weeks? Can I lose 500 pounds in 5 weeks? No, right? It's not gonna work. But can I lose 1 pound, or can I not eat? Can I maybe not eat 2 plates during the holidays because I want to keep my sure, whatever. Think of those things, and you take the small step approach to it, and it'll help you to achieve it. And you'll see the results. You'll see your achievement. It'll keep the momentum going, and it just keeps you going from there. Right. So the SMART acronym is something that, it sounds simple, and it really is simple, but it's powerful. If you don't do those things, if you don't create your goals based off of those specific attributes, then you end up having a wish instead of a goal, right? You have a dream instead of a goal, right?
Tell you what that ends up being. And this is my, and I love y'all, but what ends up happening is we create these amazing, wonderful lists full of things that we need to do, right? All the stuff that needs to be done. And when you create a list of things that you should have done, thing that you should have been done did, you know what that list turns into? It turns into a been done did list, which is a list of should have been done did. Been done did lists will cause you the most anxiety on the face of this earth, because every day you look at a list full of things, and if somebody who is really, really bad ADHD, I'm the little Adderall kid from back in the day that was bouncing off the walls. They're like, oh, go put her in a special class because and I'm having all the fun on the face of this earth. That's me. So because my whole life I've created lists, and they end up being been done did lists, every time you look at that list and you're like, oh my God, I didn't get this done, your heart feels constrained. And then you're like, oh my God, I should have done this, and your heart feels constrained. It's the reason why these SMART goals are important, because if you're not able to make them specific, you're not able to measure them, you don't know if they're attainable. Like all of these different things that come along with SMART, if you're not able to understand that, these lists will last forever, and they will haunt you. They will haunt you in your sleep. You wake up in the morning, oh my God, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done. It's because it's on this been done did list. It's easier a list that is based off of SMART goals, because at the end of all of them, how realistic and attainable is this stuff? Did I put a measurable timeline? Is there a time base on here that is honestly attainable for me to reach these goals? So when I look at my clients, in all 100% reality, most clients, aside from those that are Terry, that have large teams, right? Most of my clients, they have less than 3 people on their team. And at most, they have 5 or under. Realistically, my team can knock out all of their operational systems in 6 weeks. I have to set realistic goals for my clients, not just for my team, but for my clients that come in, because I understand people aren't coming to me because they're failing. They come to me because they're doing really well, and they're overwhelmed, and their business is taking off even more than they ever possibly dreamed of. I don't get folks that are like, oh my God, Connie, I can't sell anything. I get folks that are like, yo, I'm out here. It's off the chain. And people are kicking out trying to get these sales, right? So I get the people that are super busy, they're already overwhelmed. I give them the grace of telling them it's going to take 3 months, even though I know it can be done in 6. So my measurable goal and time-based goal for in that space, it's not about my team. My team can do it in 6 weeks. It's about my client, know that they're going to have 3 months because it's going to take them longer because they're already busy. So when you're looking internally, you have to measure SMART against your business internally. You also have to measure SMART externally to understand your clients' needs. You have to understand what they, because we look at our avatar and we're like, oh, this is how much they make, this is what they do. You have to look at their lifestyle, see what's realistic for your clients as well. So SMART doesn't just apply to you, it applies to those that are coming to acquire your services or your products.
I love it. I love it. That is facts. That is truth. Listen, this is a powerful thing that I always tell people, that the weird thing about like process reengineering, process systems people, all these different things that I talk about, the weird thing about it is all these Fortune 500 companies used to bring me in to do these type of things, right? To help them improve it. But then small... Say again?
How much they pay you big money to come in there and talk and fix their processes?
Well, they was paying millions to Microsoft, and then paying, I was only getting my 200,000 thing, and everything was great. But that goes to show you, Fortune 500 company who's already, they operating, they doing amazing. They're in the billions of revenue, yet they still needed these things. They still realize, oh damn, we gotta fix our process. We got to implement systems. We have to automate. We have to improve our teams, how they interact with each other, etc. But yet, small business entrepreneurs tend to be like, I'll focus on that later or something. I go back to the analogy with my kids. If you keep your house clean, it's a lot easier to clean up, right? Later on, if you just keep it a mess, and then you got this huge, mess that you got to clean up, that's daunting, and that's what holds you back. But keep it clean along the way. Start from now putting these type of things into your business, and it'll make things so much easier. Anthony Mills, my bad, bro. I was missing on here because I'm doing both Facebook and IG. The book, for everybody who's asking for the book, I will put it online soon. Right now, it just came to me. They sent me like the first 500 copies, and then I'm gonna get the rest put onto Amazon and being sold there. So I will post a link on Amazon. Also, I have a page called Beez Speaks. Beez Speaks is my like speaking engagement page and that type of stuff. It will be posted on there for sale for direct sales as well. But overall, you'll find it on Amazon. And once again, just so you see, my guy Les Brown, your guy.
Screenshot this picture with Beez on there. And send it to us.
There we go.
Phenomenal. How crazy is that to be on the same cover as Les Brown, an actual living legend? That's wild.
Yeah, definitely. My mother was like, "Wait, what?" Because my mother loved Les Brown, so it's an amazing. Everybody loves Les Brown for sure. But thank you, Anthony, and I will check. Oh, you're welcome for the jewels, and I will check your message in a bit. One quick thing I want to tell everybody before we start to wrap up tonight. So, as you know, one of the things that I do is I talk a lot about funding and how to use credit because there's you okay. All right.
Thank you for sharing this time with you, Beez, man. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I'm grateful for everything that you're touching. God bless it because you are really reaching people that genuinely need your help. If you guys are not of his organization, like you have to get involved. Beez, what's the name of it?
The Business Builders Institute. We go over everything.
It's genuinely a place where you can go and gain this kind of knowledge because imagine if he's just giving type of information and being this transparent on a live. Imagine what's literally happening inside this group. These are the type of spaces and rooms you have to be in. I didn't have anything like that. And being transparent. This is my 14th year in business, and I never had a place where I felt that people understood my struggles and that they genuinely cared about pouring into me and making sure that I was okay, not just as a business owner, but also as a person, as a human. I commend you on creating a safe space to make sure that people feel good in what they're building because entrepreneurship is lonely. Yeah. It's a very place. Many of us are not surrounded by other entrepreneurs. My best friend gives a hoot about entrepreneurship, but she's living in the grace she's supposed to live in because she helps children. So she's changing the world with working with kids. I'm changing it by working with business owners. So all of us don't always have a safe space to be able to talk about entrepreneurship. So the fact that he's created a safe space for you guys, I commend you on that. Anytime you ever need me, my brother, I'm grateful for you. And thank you for allowing me to come up and get on the live and talk about these SMART goals with you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I love you. You are the best. And once again, if anyone isn't following Connie S. Falls, then I doubt that's the case. But make sure y'all hit that arrow up top. It'll drop down. Follow me, follow Connie. And thank you for everything that you do. And just for being that amazing soul with that smile. Much love. Thank you, Connie.
Everybody, love y'all.
Love you. Yo, Bonito, what's good, man? Yo, again, that Walmart shutdown was amazing. We're able to help so many kids, and we're not done. We're not done. I haven't been talking about it as much because I'm doing my own contribution, but we bought out an entire Walmart and delivered all of these kids, the gifts to foster care kids under the age of 10. Now we're going to deliver to foster care kids that are in the teenage years, not toys, but like gift cards. So we're still going, man, because, if we're blessed to achieve what we've achieved, this year's been amazing. I got to make sure I impact others and give back to the community and to kids as much as possible. So thank you again for everybody that participated in that. For everyone who stayed on to this live, I'm going to give you a quick gem right now. We already gave you a lot of gems. But people love my funding gems more than anything else, right? So I always try to give you a nice opportunity. Now, here we go. So if you already follow me, you should have heard me say that there are certain restricted industries out there for business. So if you name your business something that's more generic, like Beez Consulting or Beez Enterprise, then a bank won't classify you as a restricted industry, even if I'm doing something that's restricted. Restricted isn't something bad. It's just like, believe it or not, trucking is a restricted industry. Obviously, cannabis is restricted. Obviously, cannabis is legal in many states and such, but federally it's not. So it's restricted from the banking system. There's a few others that are restricted industries. Now, it's always difficult to get funding for restricted industries. Actually, cannabis is not a restricted, it's a complete deny. There's restricted, then there's like the no, and it's like they won't open an account. Restricted, you can still open accounts, but they'll give you less money. So I'm gonna give y'all one financial institution that I found recently that is amazing when it comes to these restricted industries. Now, let me give you some more context first. When it comes to the restricted industries, you have like even credit repair. A lot of people I know is in credit repair, right? And they set up a credit repair business. In certain states, it's completely illegal, right? So that's why people go form in a different state, like Florida, for example, where it is legal, and they form here. But you got to make sure that you get your surety bond. You got to make sure you find the right merchant account processor, because not all merchant account processors want to deal with credit repair businesses. So I found an institution, Journey Business Solutions. Journey Business Solutions. Not only would they do merchant processing for any restricted industries if you are in one or you were thinking of getting one, trucking. I can give you a list of restricted industries. Make sure you text the link on my bio. There's not even a link. There's a button that says text. Hit that and then ask for restricted industries, and I'll give you a list that has like what all of them are. But Journey Business Solutions will do merchant processing even for the restricted industries like credit repair and such. And they're giving out up to like $250,000 loans, business loans for restricted industries. There's certain requirements. I'm not going to get into all of the requirements on here. I just wanted to give y'all that gem because I want you to do your own research. Go look it up. See if this is something that applies to you. Keep in mind, if it's a business, this sounds too good to be true, right? It's not that it is too good to be true. It's just that it's realistic. Meaning, if it's going to be a company that's giving, lending funding for restricted industries when most institutions won't, then they're probably going to have a higher interest rate. It's like taking out a hard money loan, right? From to purchase real estate, and you got to pay a higher interest rate. But sometimes you got to do it. The name of it is Journey Business Solutions. Check it out. Journey, like JOURNEY, like going on a journey, Business Solutions. Look them up and research it, and make sure that you, if it helps you in whatever industry that you're in, then I'm glad that I was able to help. Every play you tell me I get money. Thanks. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's why I do this. I want everybody to keep getting money, right? Because what I teach, I got to say one more thing before I wrap it up. What I teach, I cannot teach in a month. I can't do a mentorship that's like, hey, join my mentorship for this month, and then I'm going to show you how to make $1 million. If anybody's telling you that and making promises of that, they're lying to you. And I'm going to even say that to my friends if they were to say that. If they say, yo, I got the blueprint on how you could make 7 figures in the first month, blah, 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 they lying to you. It doesn't matter if they were able to accomplish it. They're not telling the truth to say, hey, I made 7 figures in the first month, blah, blah. They're saying, hey, I got the blueprint to show you how to make 7 figures in the first month. That's a lie. You understand? It's true that they made it, but there's no blueprint that's going to show you how to exactly duplicate it, right? This is why I can't teach you what I do and how I've done it and how I've accomplished what I've accomplished in a quick session. I could give you insight, and then you could go execute on it on your own. It's not a blueprint, it's a guideline, right? So when people tell you they have a blueprint that is going to guarantee you that you making X amount of money in this amount of time, they're lying to you, all right? And I'm not even saying like if it's bad intentions lying. That's just the nature of the game with people who are trying to sell courses all the time. I don't push my courses that much because I got my businesses. That's my businesses are running, right? My courses is because I just want to help people. And yeah, I got to charge for it because, everybody asks me a lot of questions. Everybody comes to me a lot. Everybody's texting me a lot with a lot of questions. You feel me? So I want to make sure that I give back when I can. And this is one way. I come on live. When I find things like, the financial stuff that we do, that's just, to me, that's like, okay, I could give you that. Now you got to go run with it. You got to go investigate it. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that everything is on the up and up, right? Not just if I'm telling you the truth, because I am, but does it apply for me? Is it something that, you know, I think will actually work for me? So you got to look at that. Sorry, writing something down. There we go. All right. So that's the only thing I wanted to give you out tonight. Journey Business Solutions for those who are in restricted industries and can't get funding. This is one of the best solutions for you. Journey Business Solutions. Check it out. All right. So there's so much more I wanted to talk about tonight, but I got to wrap it up. We've gone for an hour and a half, but I wanted to talk about some of the things that I'm doing, me personally, to take advantage of what's coming. I'm looking at the potential crash. It's not going to be as bad as it was in 2008 or anything with that recession, but there's certain things that's going to happen in the financial markets. There's certain things that's going to happen in real estate. There's certain things that's going to happen in the supply chain. So if you're in e-commerce, so that's not bad. It's just that if you know that these things are going to happen, how do you prepare for it? And that's what I've been doing with my businesses. I've been preparing for, I know the markets is going to crash and course correct a little bit. Let me make sure I have enough funds to buy up things, and I'm staying on top of my education within the financial markets to know what I should buy up and when, right? So pay attention to these things. Pay attention to what's coming, and so that way you can start planning for it. All right. That's it for now. The last thing I got to tell y'all is for those who are interested, now I got to do a little sales part, I guess, just at the end. If you are interested in joining the Business Builders Institute, click the link in my bio. Use the code word legacy, right? Because we building legacies. That's what this is about. It's not just about making some money. It's creating legacy, right? So use the code word legacy for 50% off of the Business Builders Institute. This ain't going to happen all the time. Why? I don't need to do it, right? But I figured it's the holidays. I'm giving back to kids. I'm giving back to families. So I want to give back to you, everybody. So 50% off the Business Builders Institute until Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The code word legacy. All right. Now, if you want to learn how to flip businesses, how to acquire businesses sometimes with no money out of pocket, and how to structure them so that you can increase their value and sell it for even more, or just how to sell your own businesses, you definitely need to tap in what we do in the PBI. That's all I got to say. It's insane. All right, everybody, have a great evening. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Set your goals. Make sure they are smart. Allison Fawcett, if you don't have one, don't have what? Don't have a business? That's fine too. You don't have a business? Then in there, we also talk about the different business models that are good to get into because they could cash flow quickly, right? A lot of times people come to me and they say, hey, I want to do this because it's my passion. And I tell you, sometimes it's better to focus on something that's going to cash flow for you quicker, because then that could fund your passion later, right? So if you don't have a business already, Allison Fawcett, no worries. Just tap in, and we'll help you to get it started the right way, get funding for it, which model to get into, how to scale it, how to sell it. All right. Please be Blue Magic, be mine. All right, Blue Magic, be mine. Respond to my DM. I'm gonna look for it just since you asked nicely there. Blue Magic, be mine. Now I know my chat bot, my automation probably responded to you already, or someone on my team, but I'm gonna look for it directly. I'll search for your name, Blue Magic, be mine _, and then I'll hit message, so it'll take me right to any message from you. All right, everybody, have a great day. Much love, peace and love to everybody. And just whatever you do, just do it with honor and integrity, and the world will pour back into you. Peace. See y'all later.
Hey, Beez, I see you doing your thing, bro.
Man, you could give me a spot.